What's going on, Jets fans? Dylan Tereman back with another film breakdown from the Jets 2025 draft class. Today we will watch my personal favorite pick of the class, Azareye'h Thomas, cornerback, Florida State, a long man coverage corner who looks to already have the eye of his new head coach, Aaron Glenn, a former cornerback. In his final season at Florida State, Thomas allowed just 17 receptions on 33 targets, a 51.5% completion rate, and surrendered only 141 yards over 12 games. In terms of ball production, he had 5 pass breakups and 1 interception, but on such limited opportunities, it is still a high rate of disruption. Let's dive into the film and see if he truly is the press man corner who can choke him out at the line of scrimmage. All right, the first clip I have is press man corner AZ up at the top of the screen. He's going to beat the wide receiver's block to the inside. Great wrap-up tackle on the running back for a minimal gain. Immediately evident is his physicality and willingness to defend the run. As we play through here, you're going to see his strength to beat the wide receiver's block and get inside. Great tackle. Not going around the knees or the ankles like most corners do. He's going around the hip area, trying to attack the football as well. You'll see from the end zone angle. I'll try to slow it down at the mesh point. Look at this. AZ has already beaten his block. Running back does not even have the ball from Cam Ward yet. Now the running back has the ball completely. AZ is fully disengaged from his block, streaming downfield toward the center of the formation, ready to make a great wrap-up tackle. Good start for me from the cornerback out of Florida State. Second clip I have, AZ up at the top again. Close kind of press man coverage. He's not going to bite on the double move. Wide receiver is going to go outside, double move. And then as Cam Ward breaks the pocket, you're going to see AZ continue to stick with his wide receiver during the scramble drill and eliminate the outlet pass for Ward. Play it through. Hands on. Doesn't bite for the double move. Cam Ward looks to break the pocket. And as he's breaking the pocket, he's looking at this wide receiver right in the eyes. But AZ is right here. So Cam Ward knows that if he throws this, he'll be lucky if it's a 0-yard gain as an incompletion. Keep going. AZ sticks with him. Cam Ward has no choice but to run out of bounds. You'll see it quickly on the end zone angle. As Cam looks, goes to break the pocket. Here's AZ right here in the hip pocket of his wide receiver, not allowing Cam Ward, who's clearly looking right at him, to get that outlet throw off in the scramble drill. All right, third clip is the first negative from AZ Thomas. And it's a negative for 2 reasons. First reason is I believe this is a cover 1 robber, which is a man scheme from the defense. You're going to see 1, 2, 3 defenders to the bottom of the screen, covering the 1, 2, 3 eligibles to the bottom of the screen, with 2 defensive backs up at the top to cover those 2 eligibles. This middle linebacker is going to bail out as the robber in the middle of the field, and this cover 1 safety is going to roam the middle post field position. As we play it through, AZ is going to put his butt to the sideline and bail out of there, which to me is a cover 3 technique, a lot of which we saw under Robert Saleh. And in this case, everyone else is playing man coverage at the top of the route, yet AZ has too much separation on his guy. I'll stop it at the top of the route and then play it through. You already see him preparing to bail, butt to the sideline. That's a clear indicator of cover 3. He's looking to get out of there. But this cornerback, however, is not. He's more head up with his guy. Although he's playing off coverage, it does not look like he's about to bail into cover 3. Post snap, there goes AZ bailing. AZ is bailing. He's already 8 yards separated from his wide receiver. You have one-on-one and man, and man down to the bottom with the cover 1 safety and this guy floating around as the robber. So way too much separation. The tight end just caught the ball at the 44, and AZ is giving him about 20 yards of separation. Now, after realizing he's made this crucial mistake, AZ in my opinion, is going to try to overcorrect, and he allows the tight end to get upfield and juke him out. He puts his head down and just whiffs on the tackle. One of the few times I saw him whiff on a tackle this bad on film, but I also think he was trying to overcorrect his first mistake and ended up compounding 2 mistakes on one play instead. Playing it through, gets shaken out of his shoes, allows for the extra yak yardage for the first down. You'll see from the end zone angle, Cam easy check down, AZ slipping and sliding, can't get his footing, can't make a good wrap-up tackle, allows for the first down. Back to the positives. AZ up at the top of the screen, press man coverage yet again. I'm doing this on purpose. I'm trying to show plays on film where I think he's going to translate the best to the NFL. I think they want him to play in a lot of press man or man coverage situations versus zone. So I'm trying to show elements of that in his film. Here he is, press man up at the top. He's not going to bite on the stem of the wide receiver's route. He's going to try to, get him off balance, turn him inside out multiple times, and you'll see the change of direction at 2 different points during this route, and he maintains good hand usage, good balance, good leverage, and is able to stick with him through the stem of the vertical route here. We'll play it through, and I'll try to pause it as he changes directions. 1, he plants his right foot into the ground and opens his hips outside, thinking the wide receiver is going to go on an outside stem, outside release. Nope, the wide receiver comes back inside. AZ is able to put his hand on him, kind of help him rotate back around, open his hips back up, and he's just going to carry with him the entire route. Cam Ward ends up scrambling and throwing it away. AZ, great downfield reps after what could have been a very risky situation at the line of scrimmage. Most average cornerbacks would have probably lost balance, lost leverage, and allowed for the wide receiver for an easier break. Azareye'h Thomas does not, however. All right, AZ up at the top again in this 5th clip. The wide receiver's running a big in-breaking route, a deep dig, some teams call it. He's just going to run a 14-yard dig. Azareye'h Thomas is going to stick with him through the entirety of the route, but he's going to notice Cam Ward breaks the pocket, breaks contain, and he has daylight to the far side of the field. And if it's not for Azareye'h Thomas snapping off his coverage to go and pursue the quarterback, Cam Ward might still be running to this day. So we'll play it through. AZ, hands on and press. He's able to get up. Cam just breaks the pocket. Cam is already looking to run, and Cam is not a scrambler. He's always a throw first, even when breaking the pocket type of passer, as we saw in the previous clip where AZ stuck on with his man. Now, in this situation, if Cam were to get out into space here, all these guys are flowing this way. It'd be very difficult for this guy right here to chase down Cam, or this edge defender to cut back upfield and chase Cam. So AZ is the last line of defense, in my opinion, from creating an explosive for Miami's offense. And you'll see right here, he does a great job. He leaves his assignment, breaks off to Cam Ward. Cam has no choice but to tuck it and run and then slide down 4 or 5 yard gain. And that is a complete win, because it looked like it could have been a 20 to 25 yard plus run for Cam. And instead, AZ makes it a very minimal gain. Just tons of heads-up awareness from AZ. As you see, he leaves his man here. Cam's looking to run. He also wants to throw, but he can't. Has to slide. Tons of heads-up awareness from AZ, something I think that was missing with a good portion of our defense last year. Communication, just intelligence of play recognition, things that I think these rookies are going to bring into the fold here. All right, last rep I have. AZ in the red zone. He's going to do a force out on this goal line fade. Wide receiver is going to get into his area, and he's going to break out on an outside stem. Now, when I was a kid in the NFL, this used to be a touchdown. Glad that this rule is no longer a thing, because the defense needs help with the rule book wherever it can get it, and the force out rule was utterly a joke, to be frank. So AZ doing a great job staying in the hip of the receiver yet again. Outside stem, no separation. AZ has perfect placement too. When that ball touches the receiver's hands. AZ has a hand on the ball as well. And I understand that the receiver does come away with the football and it's not an incompletion, but it is an incompletion because he got no part of his foot inbounds. Look at this. This is beautiful coverage by AZ. Obviously, if the wide receiver gets his foot inbounds, it would maybe be reviewed and possibly turned into a touchdown, but AZ makes sure that there's no chance that his guy comes down with the football inbounds, and he knows it right away. You see him pointing. He said, absolutely not. I know that I just stopped my guy. So Azareye'h Thomas, a lot of fun to watch on film. I think, in my opinion, he's going to end up being a starter on this team sooner rather than later. I understand they signed Brandon Stevens from the Baltimore Ravens to a 3-year, $36 million contract, so $12 million per. I don't think that matters. And unfortunately for the NFL, the one backwards part of their offseason timeline is free agency before the draft. I don't believe the Jets ever thought they would get Azareye'h Thomas at pick 73. So they were planning accordingly, in my opinion, going to get Stevens. And now that they were able to absolutely steal Azareye'h Thomas in the 3rd round, it alters their plans a little bit. And now you have more versatility. Stevens can go back and play safety, where he played a bit at Southern Methodist. He did not play much there at all in Baltimore. So AZ, I think, could be your perimeter corner opposite Sauce by midseason, if not certainly the start of the 2026 season. This kid's going to be way too good and way too much of what the coaches ask of their players, and he's just going to go out and execute. He's going to do it at such a high level that I don't think it's going to matter what Brandon Stevens' production looks like, because this guy is not going to be able to sit on the bench for very long. Coaches are going to take notice. I believe the coaching staff has light years more insight on how to use their players. I think Saleh had a scheme and he said, let's go run it. AG is going to, mold his talents to his players. And you have 2 lockdown corners who are both 6'1", 6'2" plus, long arms, long legs, able to turn and run. They don't need to be the fastest straight line players. And I know the 4.58 scared everybody with Azareye'h Thomas. If anybody in those 6 clips had a problem with his speed, put it in the comments below, because not once did I see his speed become a problem on film. So comment down below what your thoughts are of Azareye'h Thomas. How quickly do you think he's going to start in this defense? Comment again who you want. I'm got a couple in the works, UDFAs, and I have Tyler Barron loaded up from Miami, so I have him ready to go. But if there's any specific UDFAs you want me to cover, I'll try to pull up as many clips as I can of those guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Jet Nation is seeing a surge in subscribers, so I greatly appreciate everybody who's watching and subscribing. Please make sure to keep those likes and subscriptions coming. We're almost at 5,000, and I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Follow us at Jet Nation on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me at Tereman directly, and then you can also follow Glenn at JNRadio_Glenn. Once again, I appreciate everybody tuning in, and let's go Jets.